So in the use of this neural disorders, the first disease that we have to take is the dyslexia. Now, what is dyslexia? We have to first understand, and we will begin with that. So dyslexia is actually a lifelong condition. Most of the time it is a difficulty in reading as well as sometimes writing also. So the people who are having dyslexia usually find it difficult to read. Because when they are reading a sentence, they are reading a words, most of the time they won't be able to grasp the idea or the spelling correctly. That is one problem. So the most of the time children who are having this problem will have a lot of problem, like reading the textbook accurately. What is presented in the textbook may not be understood by the student properly. So that problem, because there is a meaning for a sentence. So if the student or child is not able to understand the sentence, read the sentence in the correct order, there will be some difficulty in understanding the meaning of the sentence. So that is the problem. The kids with the dyslexia have a trouble reading accurately and fluently. This is accurately means they won't be able to understand the meaning of the sentence correctly. So if you for example in a examination, if the question is put in some way and the student is not able to understand the question correctly, he may be writing a different answer. Even if the student knows the answer correctly, he won't be able to write the correct answer. So that will be affecting the academic progress of the child. So this is a major problem that is affecting students, children with the dyslexia. And most of the time dyslexia is a lifelong problem, and it is not going to be overcome after some years of certain years of their development. Then most common issue, so it's a most common learning difficulty. That is about 5 to 17% of the children who are having this their learning difficulty usually have this problem called dyslexia. And dyslexia, so that these children will have trouble answering the question about something they have read. But the interesting thing is that only in reading and understanding the thing they are facing this difficulty. But if you are reading a sentence to them, they can clearly understand the meaning of it. So when they are reading it alone, they have difficulty in understanding. But if somebody else is telling that sentence to them, that is, they are hearing that sentence, they will not face much difficulty. So the main problem with dyslexia is the way our brain is processing the information. It is a problem of information processing, what we are seeing and how the brain is processing that information. In that sequence of information processing, there occurs some difficulty, and it is that difficulty that leads to difficulty in understanding the meaning. Then on the other hand, if you are telling, or if they are hearing that sentence, they can clearly understand the meaning accurately. So so it's a strange problem. Most of them, many people who don't understand what is dyslexia won't be able to understand the difficulty of these children. Even many teachers in teaching students with dyslexia don't know how to help them. A majority of the teachers don't have any skill in teaching students with this kind of learning difficulty, whether it is in primary level or in the college level. Most of the teachers are very pathetic when with regard to helping this kind of these children. Then another point about this, that people sometimes believe that dyslexia is a visual issue. Actually, this is not a visual issue. That is they are not able to read properly. That is not the problem. They can see the things clearly, but the way they are processing that visual information, there is some problem in that. They think that it is kids reversing letters or writing. Sometimes some children may be reading a sentence or reading a word in a backward order. So that problem sometimes occur. So dyslexia is not a problem of vision or seeing letters in a wrong direction. It is basically a problem of information processing, how our brain is processing what we have seen. That is the most important problem that is affecting the dyslexia, the peer students with the children with the dyslexia. So there won't be any problem with intelligence in these children. They will be as intelligent as anyone else, but still since they are facing this difficulty in reading and comprehending, or reading and understanding a matter correctly, won't be able to express themselves correctly. So kids with this issue are just as smart as their peers, and many people have struggled with dyslexia and still become very successful persons in their careers. So as far as dyslexia is concerned, what you must keep in your mind is that dyslexia is a lifelong disorder, and there is no proper treatment for dyslexia. There are some steps by which the severity or the disorder can be minimized, and the important thing other people can, the family and the friends can do, is that we have to understand that this child has a problem in reading. And usually many students, in most of the time, several students like that come come to our class. We have seen several such students. They won't be able to write properly. They may be very slow in writing, and so most of the time they may fail. This is one problem. So it is very important that we have to understand what is the issue that is facing them. Then only we can help these students properly. Now, regarding the next thing, here you can see some of the important issues of the dyslexia, how the dyslexia is, what are the feeling causing students many kind of problems. I don't, the slide is quite clear. I got the slide in that way itself. They have problems in taking down notes. They have a family background of usually some genetic connection may be found. Then sometimes they cannot coordinate for example, mathematical problem. They won't be able to correctly understand the problem. So they get lost easily, and there may be difficulty in remembering sometimes a phone number. So difficulty in copying what is written on the board. So such kind of difficulty these students usually express. So that is why I told you it is a difficulty with information processing that is leading to dyslexia. So this is regarding the first type of disease. Now we go to the another problem. Then we have one more disorder, that is dyslexia. You can see that regarding the dyslexia, it is also a neurological disorder, and usually you might have seen persons with dyslexia, epilepsy. Epilepsy in Malayalam we call it as chudali or abasmaram. That is the meaning of the word epilepsy. So it's also a neurological disorder, and is characterized by epileptic seizures. You know, the person with epilepsy or abasmaram are expressing when they are affected with this problem. So this epileptic seizure are episodes that can vary from brief or nearly undetectable periods to long periods of vigorous shaking. What actually happens during this epilepsy is still not very properly known, but some kind of difference in the electrical activity of the brain. That is the usual explanation. So because as a small level of electric current is passing through our neurons and brain, when there is a change in this electrical activity, that somehow leads to epilepsy or epileptic seizures, and the episodes can result in physical injury, because you know that if when a person is showing this epileptic seizures, they may be moving their hands, legs, and heads, and also the tongue, or quite vigorously. Sometimes this movement of the legs and arms can cause physical injury if there is any furniture or other thing near there. Then sometimes what happens is that they may be biting on their tongue because of this violent movements. So there is nobody knows why this epilepsy is coming. What we know is that it usually during epilepsy there is a change in electrical activity of the brain, and in epilepsy seizures tend to recur means repeat, and as a result and have no immediate or unrelated why this is happening. But recently, with the advancement in medication, there are medicines that can reduce the development of this epileptic seizure. When I was a student, I have seen many such cases. But now I don't see such cases during even in colleges or in school, because of better treatment are there. And the cause of most of the cases of epilepsy is unknown. Some cases occur as a result of brain injury, can be one reason. Stroke we have seen, and cancer or brain tumor is another reason. Infections of the brain, or sometimes birth defects through a process known as epileptogenesis. In some people, if there are some birth defects are there, that may be prone, then such people will be prone to development of epilepsy. So these are some of the problems that we can see in the issue of epilepsy. So what are the symptoms of epilepsy? One is sudden twitching of arms and legs, violent twitching of arms as well as legs. The person may be unconscious for some time. A tingling sensation, tingling means a tingling sensation of arms and legs. Then another problem is stiffness in the muscle of the arms, legs and face. So these are the symptoms of epilepsy. As I told you, there is no proper explanation why it is happening. The non-genetic mutation directly linked to small proportion. There is some genetic connection in a few individuals. And epileptic seizures are a result of excessive abnormal neuronal activity in the cortex of the brain. That is what we have only understood. That is a cortical part. This is the cortical part of the brain. There is increased electrical activity or neuronal activity. And diagnosis involves ruling out other conditions that might cause similar symptoms, such as fainting, and determining if another cause of seizure is present, such as alcohol withdrawal or electrolyte problems. So that is a way of how we are confirming the diagnosis. And the best way for confirming the incidence of epilepsy is to undergo brain imaging and also blood test. So and another thing is that epilepsy can often be confirmed with electroencephalogram (EEG), but a normal test does not rule out the condition. So we have to use a combination of techniques. We have to use EEG, we have to use brain scanning, we have to use blood tests. And these are some of the methods by which we can confirm that a person is having epilepsy. And going to the symptoms of epilepsy, these are the main symptoms: sudden twitching of arms and legs, the person becoming unconscious, and stiffness of the muscles of the legs and arms. So these are the primary features or primary symptoms of people showing epilepsy.